based purely on the title, A Very McNulty Birthday is not an episode that I expected to go the way it did. It's pretty fascinating. There are a couple of quotes in it that I thought were quite interesting, and ultimately there are some good messages in this. This is the second segment of the 11th episode of the 5th season of Rugrats, and needless to say, it's a McNulty birthday party, and the babies and Angelica and Susie all go to Timmy McNulty's party, which I thought was quite interesting. I didn't think they were really friends as such, but I'm thinking maybe more the grown-ups were friends and that's how they got together. It was also nice to have the full gang there with Susie as well. However, McNulty and the other boy babies, not Tommy and Chuckie and Phil, of course, but they say that the girls can't play with them. And they say that this is because girls have got cooties. And initially, Tommy and Chuckie go along with McNulty because they don't really understand. And there are some really great moments in this bedroom between Angelica, Susie, and Lil, where they're working together because they're the three girls there. And Angelica, much to my surprise, tells Lil that cooties aren't real. And I thought that that was quite nice because a lot of young children might not realise that. I have to say, cooties aren't really a thing in the UK, at least they weren't when I was a child, and certainly when this episode was released. We never really went around saying girls had cooties. I'd love to know where that started. If anybody knows the origin of that, I'd be really keen to know. I could probably Google it. But yeah, for me, when I was younger, it wouldn't have really meant very much to me, but certainly for young children who are aware of cooties, it can tell them that don't be ridiculous, it doesn't mean anything. However, it does mean that the girls have been cast aside for the simple reason that they're girls. But Tommy and Chuckie, mostly Tommy, Chuckie is scared of catching cooties, but Tommy says that they need to be brave, and he and Chuckie are going to go and deliver some juice, and they put on these visors, which I thought was pretty extreme. And as luck would have it, Angelica, Susie, and Lil are in the middle of pulling a prank that they're going to play on the boys, revolving around cooties. And I won't say any more than that, at least about the narrative. But I thought it was pretty clever. I liked the fact that instead of sulking about being cast aside, the girls decided to get their own back and have some fun with the boys and, potentially torment them. Visually, it looked really great. I thought it was very effective. And it helps to highlight the fact that you should never not play with girls because you think you're going to get cooties. It's ridiculous. And yeah, it's a pretty important message, I think. What I did think was interesting is that Chuckie says, and I quote, "I'm turning into a monster just like you." I won't give any context to that because it'll spoil some of the things the girls were doing, but I did think that was peculiar because nobody ever really thought of cooties as being a thing that turned girls into monsters as such. So it was an interesting take, and it kind of took me by surprise, and I wasn't expecting Chuckie to make such a bold statement. The other thing I observed is Timmy's mother's accent. I genuinely couldn't work out what it was meant to be, and I say this hoping the actress isn't actually Irish, but it was certainly a very interesting take on the accent. But she's not in it too much. I liked the episode. It was not at all what I was expecting based on the title, but I think it raised some really important points. I am, of course, coming at this as a girl, and raised some important points about the fact that boys shouldn't treat girls like they're going to become monsters and that they have cooties. You're being ridiculous. But also, if boys do that to you, there are some fun things you can do to try and get your own back. So I think it's got some nice messages in there. It doesn't make it too heavy. It's still, good fun. But I think it's a really important topic as well, especially for young children who just might not fully understand what on earth is going on in life. Definitely one that was full of surprises, and I really thoroughly enjoyed it.